Hello YouTube, this is BUB'S Comics coming at you with a quick comic call. Went to Lexington, Kentucky this weekend, so got a little excursion out. It's about maybe an hour, 45, 2 hour drive from where I live, but it's only about an hour and 15-minute drive or so from where I work. So that worked out pretty good. I had to work a little bit on Saturday, so the wife went ahead and worked a little bit too. And then we left from the offices and headed out to Lexington. Had a big time. Ate at Cold Stone Creamery and Panera Bread and Five Guys Burgers and just ate our little heads off. It was great. But other than that, of course, you know, Bub's got to hit the comic shops. So we went straight to this one shop. It's called A+ Comics in Lexington. It was recommended to me by Jambo Comics. I was aware of them. They keep trying to send me friend requests on Facebook. But it worked out. Real nice guy running the shop there. I think his name was Roy, but I could be mistaken. But real nice people over there. And they let me take a look through the wall books. And then they let me take a look through some of the extra wall books they had. So I picked out a few. So let's make me small and get right to the haul. Yo! Well, that was a fast one. Oh, almost hurt my neck. All right, first up, we got Batman number 197. I just couldn't pass this up. First of all, when you get these early in the 190s, you're looking at Catwoman. So this is the, I think, fourth Silver Age appearance of Catwoman. I don't get real big into that being some kind of key. However, I love that she was wearing like a Riddler colored outfit. So that's the Catwoman right there. Look at that green outfit. My God, that is so emerald. I like the mask. I think that's pretty cool with the little ears on top. Very nice. Catwoman, look at, man, she's getting a little separation there. Looks good with the cat of nine tails. Very cool. And then she's got, of course, Batwoman is trying to protect Batman. So Batman is laid out here, and she says, Batgirl says, you'll take Batman to your catacombs over my dead body, Catwoman. Catwoman says, have it your own way, Batgirl. Uh-oh, they're gonna fight right over top of Batman. Now, I got a question for you guys. Is Batman really sleeping here? Is he pulling one of those not over on the 6 trains? Ugh. On the girl next to him? And what's going on here? I think he's sandbagging. He doesn't even, that's a totally unnatural laid out pose, I'm telling you. He's sandbagging, he's trying to hide something with that leg. I tell you, what's going on here? It says, Catwoman sets her claws for Batman. All right, big fun there. I love the purple on that, the yellow and the purple Batman in the background. I mean, everything about it just spoke to me. I think I got a good deal on it. It's like when I was looking through these books based on condition and checking prices like on the way home and stuff like that, I don't think I got that great, as good of a deal as I felt like I was getting in the shop. But really, what's their job? Their job is to make me feel good while I'm in the shop. So that worked out, and I got a chance to pick up books that I normally don't get a chance to pick up. And I was happy about it. And it was fun to dig through long boxes and short boxes and the whole routine. So I had a really good time. And I'll probably go back again. They have a second shop in the area as well, so I'll hit that up too. Here's a little key. First appearance of Ego, the Living Planet, in Thor 132. Now, what's funny about this one is that this is a book that I think a lot of people see. There's 132 and there's 133, so you're going to get into this cameo first appearance debate, right? A little bit. But this one gets a little bit of a pass, and I'll tell you why. Ego isn't shown until the last panel of this book, to my knowledge, at least not in full form, right? He's not shown until the last panel of the book, and it's very clear, and he has a big, giant page where he's like, I'm Ego, right? Like, look out, here I come. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful picture. The book's worth it for that alone. It's really, really cool. But also, so you would think, well, that means it's kind of a Hulk 180 type thing where it's his first appearance, but he's only on the last panel. So some people out there want to say that that's a cameo, which I still wouldn't. But he features in the story throughout as a player in the story. He's being spoke of, he's being dealt with. So even though you don't see him and there's not the big reveal until the end, he is an integral part of the plot throughout the entire book. And I think anytime that happens, it really doesn't matter what the first image of the person is. It's still an appearance of the character. The character has entered the story. So Ego enters the story fairly early in this book, even though you don't get to see him. So I think that to me, that counts as a full first appearance. And I don't know if there's a lot of controversy over this book. I doubt it. But anyway, another story about this book is that I sold this book once. It was a much rougher copy than this, although this is no beaut. It was a much rougher copy than this. I bought it for just a few bucks. I got it in a lot, and I sold it to a local comic shop at that time. I wasn't really picking up too many random keys. If it wasn't a Wolverine book, I probably didn't keep it. So when I got this book, I was like, oh, that's cool. And he was going to offer me pretty good money for it. So I sold it to him at that time, to that shop. And that worked out for me at that time. And, you know, a buddy of mine, DS Comics, always says, don't look back on a sale with regret. Like, if you sold it, be happy you sold it. You got what you got then and move on. And I try to remind myself of that often, because sometimes I do regret my sales, but this is one of those that I had regretted. I wish I had kept it, although this copy's better than that one. I would have already had it, right? So, but I've rectified that, and that's one of the good things. Sometimes when you sell a book, you can get it back. There's a couple out there that have really raised. It's funny because I sold them for probably less than I wanted to sell them for at the time, and since then, the book has gone up to double or triple what I sold them for at the time. And now I'm like, well, it's kind of, I like the book. If I already had it, I would have kept it and been happy with it. But to reacquire it at the new market price, I'm out. Like that's where I bow out, because that's just too, sometimes trying to get a book back after you've sold it that's at the new price, it just gets too expensive. And you realize that one of the reasons why you sold it in the first place was because you didn't have a connection to that book, and you certainly don't have a connection to that book at 5 times the price. And your new connection to that book is just regret. So if your connection to a book is regret, just let it go. Try and let it go. But this is a book that I liked. And then, of course, since I had sold that, he was in Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 2. Kurt Russell played him. So at that point, I was like, oh, man. And my wife really liked that movie. And I was like, oh, man, I would have liked to have that one back. So, and then you walk into a shop, and there it is. Nice low-grade copy for my taking. So there you go. Next up, and you say, whoa, Bub, that's a big snapback. So this wasn't one of the wall books. But what's funny is that this book is probably worth about the same as that book. This book gets up there. Sheena, Queen of the Jungle, number 0. So it's like the preview type issue. And they had several of these. I forget who the artist is offhand, but I'll put it up here after I recheck it. But very cool. I love that cover. Look how she's just staring into you. That is killer. Check those eyes out. Look at that. With the leopard print and the bow. That is really some fantastic art right there. You guys know I like my jungle ladies. That is very nice. Love that book. And when I saw that book, I tried not to do any price checking because that kind of ruins the fun. But when I saw this book, I was like, I have a few of those Sheena. I have a couple of the Sheena number 0s, and I have a few of the other books in this run, of course. And I was like, man, I don't remember seeing this one. And when you come across one that you just don't remember seeing, that's a great time to go ahead and pick it up. You know? So I was like, I don't know, but I did do a little price checking on it as I was walking around the shop. I checked my phone. I was like, oh, okay. So he had it for at least half of what it's worth. So I was like, yep. And it looked like a pretty solid, nice, clean copy. So, and it's so pretty. Like I love the green on it and the orange and the yellow. I would almost get this signed by the artist and then submit it to CGC for a green label just to keep the jungle theme going. I think that would look cool. Or maybe I'll just sign it myself. All right, next up, we got Tales to Astonish, number 95. So this is getting close to the end of this run. I think it only goes up to like 101 or something. Maybe a little beyond. I don't know. But Tales to Astonish, 95. I think it's pretty good. Marie Severin art. The Hulk reaching out. He's like coming out of Banner, I assume. He's got a little robot there. I mean, there's so much to love about this book. I can't help myself. Of course, there's a little bit of, looks like grease pencil. If you guys want to see some more of that removal, we can do that. But it looks like, so this has an interesting thing going on. If you can get in real close there, see if I can get it to All right. So you see that crack up underneath what it looks like to be a sideways M or something, and then you can see the 1 and the 3 are kind of faded. It's like 613, and the 1 and 3 are faded. So to me, when you're spotting like amateur restoration, it looks like someone actually took something wet to this and tried to rub off the grease pencil because they didn't know how to get rid of it. So I'm going to be real careful with that one. I may not even take it off because I'm afraid that the paper condition underneath that is very compromised, and if I start cleaning it off, it could probably rip, and it's already got a rip right there, right dead center of all that mess is like cracked up. So my guess is somebody did try to do some amateur restoration, didn't know what they were doing, and or at least tried to clean the book and conserve it and just messed it up. So I'm not going to mess with it. It doesn't present that poorly, so I can deal with that. At least it's just a couple of numbers. I can deal with that. So that's where I'm at on that book. Tales to Astonish 95. Just love the cover. Had to pick it up, and I don't know that I've seen one for sale in my area or like at a con before. So I was like, yeah, I grabbed that. We've all done it, and if you haven't, you're a daggum liar. Look at that. Spider-Man, Turning Point. What? Marvel Tales? No! I tell you, anytime you think you're getting the steal of a century on a Spider-Man book or any of those ones that Marvel Tales redid. So this is a reprint. Marvel Tales 98. It reprints Spider-Man. I forget which number in the Gwen Stacy storyline. But, you know, it sucks. But, man, is it a super clean copy of this book. Like, it is... It needs a press, but I think after a press, it would be in the high 9, probably a 9.2 or 9.4, I think, after a press. So that's a pretty solid haul, actually. And for what I gave for it, it is actually, if I were to get it graded and stuff, it sells. It amazes me how these Marvel Tales and stuff sell sometimes. And there's not many of them that command a good price, but this is actually one of them. So maybe I'll do that and offload it. I still like looking at the cover. Some good John Romita work here. So maybe I keep it, maybe I don't. But I did get suckered, man. I saw the price tag. I was like, whoa, that's way too low. Snagged it. Didn't even give it another thought. You know, sweating, checking out. And then when I got in the car, I was like, wait a minute. That happens. Picked this up for like $5. He had this. I usually don't spend that much for these Wizard magazines, but I was in a mood to spend, right? And I was already had a stack going. So here's a nice Wizard World magazine number 101. And it's talking about video games, or the feature article on the cover. It's talking about video games crossing over into movies. So this one is, of course, about Tomb Raider. And then, you know, a lot of times they had a parent or a sister book, so that one is a Punisher. So this one has I think that's Andy Park doing work on Tomb Raider, and then the other one is the Punisher. So very cool, and I'd like to get the Punisher one too. She looks fantastic. I'm trying to think if this was used on another cover, but I couldn't find it in my collection. I have almost all these covers for Tomb Raider, including variants. I have almost a complete run. I have a complete run of the actual books, but I'm trying to get all the variants. So don't know what happened there, but maybe it was an unused cover or something, but here it is. And then, like I said, I'd like to get the Punisher one, and it says, look at that, it says Top Guns, Tomb Raider, Top Guns. I'm sure they're referring to those pistolas. What do you guys think? All right. So there you go. That's my haul. I hope y'all appreciated that. I had a big time going out to Lexington and hanging with the wife and checking out all the shops, and went to a few other shops too, but this was the best haul I had. Picked up some Blu-rays at Half Price Books. Stopped at the Half Price Books, went through the whole thing. I really didn't see anything that was blowing my skirt up. I've only successfully bought like one comic at a Half Price Books. I see everyone running out with these big Half Price Books hauls. The one closest to me, which is that one, which is a full-fledged Half Price Books, hardly ever has anything of very much value, and their grading and their pricing is a little wonky too. But anyway, that's my haul, and we'll catch you next time. Let's take a look at this sandbagging Batman. All right, we'll catch you next time on BUB'S Comics. Remember, read a comic and don't apologize for that green glare. Bye-bye.